Germany, one of Europe's climate leaders in the transformation to renewable solar and wind energy. There is, however, an underexposed, darker side to this seemingly positive image. A scene of old forest devoured by giant coal-digging machines, dirty coal power plants, ghost villages, police, and some tree houses. Stay tuned to learn more about this issue and the possible solutions. On the edge of Germany's largest brown coal mine stands the last remaining bit of the old Hambacher Forest. It is here where a heated discussion arose about conserving the scarce bits of forest we have left and turning the tide of fossil fuels, especially brown coal, the most inefficient and dirtiest of them all. Originally, the Hambacher Forest had a size of 5,500 hectares, but today only 200 hectares are left. Composed of old oaks and hornbeams, a forest like this is very rare in Europe, although it cannot be considered as a primeval forest, since it has always been influenced by humans, unlike Bielorussia in Poland, of which I made a video last year. Still, this special forest houses large oak trees of over 300 years old, rarely seen in a European forest. The forest is habitat to many endangered species, such as the Bechstein's bat and the middle-spotted woodpecker, who are especially dependent on the dead wood, which is very abundant in this more natural forest. This piece of ancient forest would be cut down this year to clear the surface for these gigantic bucket wheel excavators who are digging this almost 45 square kilometer hole with a depth of up to 500 meters. Digging up brown coal, also known as lignite.
It's not just about the forest itself, but also the animals that live here, the people that have been living in the villages around the forest that now need to move because of the coal mining that's happening right over here. And it's a big injustice that's happening because some people dictate over the rest of the world and say we want to dig for the coal, we want to destroy everything for money, for profit, and it's not the way we want to live. It's not something we can agree on.
Being the largest producer of lignite in the world, Germany has several of such mines. Groundwater is pumped away many kilometers around these gigantic holes, causing devastating effects on the landscape. Slowly the edges of the mines expand. Besides the destruction of forests, highways had to be moved and many villages with their inhabitants had to move for the ground to vanish into a big hole. All of this for coal. Although renewable energy production grows steadily in Germany, reaching a share of about 40% in mid-2018, actual emission reduction staggered for the third year in a row. This is especially due to dirty power plants running on this lignite, with its high water content emitting about twice as much CO2 as do plants running on natural gas, for example. And more lignite was burned since Chancellor Merkel closed down Germany's nuclear power plants after the 2011 Fukushima disaster.
Meine Sichtweise auf die Kernenergie hat sich durch die Ereignisse in Japan verändert.
However, to still reach its 2020 climate change targets of reducing emissions by 40% relative to 1990, Germany's only option is to close down those mines and lignite plants. So the German government set up a commission to come up with a coal phase-out plan at the end of this year 2018. But energy giant RWE, owning these mines, felt the heat of environmentalist and coming political decisions and did not want to await the commission's judgments. And so they planned to clear the forest even this year already. But just when the forest clearing started this October, a court ordered an immediate halt of the clearings. A halt until it is clarified if this ancient woodland falls under protection of EU environmental rules due to its large population of endangered bat species. The court also argued that there were no reasons for immediate clearing, since the excavators will only reach the current forest edge in about 2 years. But the big question is, can Germany do without its coal? The problem with renewable wind and solar energy is that it is dependent on the weather, and thus it cannot be adapted to the demand of energy at any moment. This can be resolved by temporarily storing energy. However, Germany is lacking ways to do this. The classical solution of hydro installations, storing energy by pumping up water in reservoirs, is not an option in Germany due to lack of suitable hilly terrain. And in general, hydro dams can have negative ecological consequences, as seen in the Amazon in Sweden, for example. But there are definitely alternatives, like storing energy in batteries, heat, gas or liquids. These electricity storage technology projects could be attracted to these mining regions and form the solution to counteract local unemployment on account of closing the mines, since this is one of the main obstacles in closing them. Yes, switching off coal is not an easy task, and we cannot just expect it to happen from one day to the other. But to make this transition, still a lot more can be done, without the drastic consequences like climate change itself. Especially energy company RWE seems to only think about their short-term economic interests, not investing in clean technologies and solutions for local employment in the long run. For now this forest is temporarily saved, but the threat of chainsaws and excavators is still there. However, there is good hope that political decisions will end the era of coal pretty soon. And furthermore, many thousands of people stand behind the Hambacher Forest, making a statement to conserve this iconic forest, in mitigating climate change by ending coal, striving for an earth where we can all live in peace and harmony. Folks are even protecting the forest, making cool tree houses, doing bushcraft and stuff.
Yeah, we are here for another world, for a world where there's no oppression on others, or where there's no injustice for a group of people because of interests. That it's okay to live in harmony with each other, but also the planet, that we don't need to use everything that we can get just because we can get it. Yeah, we are here for a new world, you could say, really.
Build nice tree houses.
Always, always the next one, till this forest can stay.
The end of the era of coal is in sight. This iconic forest can and should be saved. Together, we can do it. Thanks a lot for watching, folks. It would be of great support to this new channel if you subscribe and turn on the notification bell. See you back in 2019. Let's make it a green and peaceful year. Check out the channel's introduction video and get to know more about the potential future of this channel. Great to hear your opinions, suggestions, comments below. Take care.